Orient just destroyed the Seiko Speedtimer. They've just released a new watch that's cheaper, almost identical in spec, and for me, it looks better too. So, what's the catch? Well, there isn't one, except one watch says Seiko and the other says Orient. If that's not an issue for you, stick around to see this incredible new chronograph. Hello there, my name's Kieran, welcome to Top Tier Ticker, I hope you're having a good day. Today I get to exclusively reveal this beautiful brand new Orient chronograph to you guys. And we finally have an official model name for an Orient watch. This one is called the Orient Stretto. It's dropping in 6 fantastic colorways, and I actually have 3 of them to show you here today, with a classic panda dial and 2 blue variants. These watches are on loan from UK authorized dealer Watch Nation, who has given me an exclusive discount code for you guys to save a large percentage on this watch. So stick around for that deal, but by the way, this video is not sponsored. So how does this watch destroy the Seiko Speedtimer? Well, it delivers a similar sporty aesthetic, both feature a solar movement, yet the Orient is half the cost of the Seiko, genuinely making this watch a no-brainer if you want a chronograph made by a big Japanese watchmaker. But I'm sure some of you out there are thinking, there's no way that this Orient matches the quality of the Seiko Speedtimer. Well, in some areas, you're right, but then in others, you're absolutely wrong. Obviously, a watch costing over double should be a bit better, but I think the comparisons are a lot closer than you might think. Both watches, for starters, are made by highly respected big Japanese watch brands. Undoubtedly, more people do know of Seiko, but Orient is more of an enthusiast brand. For example, if someone sees you wearing an Orient watch in the wild, they'll instantly know that you're a watch nerd. So I genuinely don't think you sacrifice much brand cachet here, if that's something that you want with your watch. Luckily, you don't need to sacrifice quality either, because Orient has gone with top tier specifications on this watch. Yes, don't worry, we do have a sapphire crystal here. I know Orient can be a bit naughty sometimes and use mineral crystals where they aren't welcome, but I think Seiko are actually even more guilty of doing that. Orient thankfully are rolling out more and more models with sapphire, and this is one of them. The movement 2 is a similar one to that used in the Speedtimer. We have a solar movement made in-house by Orient themselves, so you still get that genuine watchmaking pedigree in this watch too. Like the Speedtimer, we have a running seconds register at the 9, a 24-hour subdial at the 3, and a slightly smaller 60-minute register at the 6. There's an annoying date window squeezed between the 4 and the 5 like the Speedtimer, but this dial just has way more detail to it than the Seiko. There's tons of different finishes and facets. This dial really does make this watch look way more expensive than it actually costs, which we'll cover at the end of the video. These 3 watches are identical in design, with just colours separating them. The white dial is truthfully more of a silver, but still delivers that panda look. Then the sky blue delivers that luxury sports watch vibe, and then the navy is definitely the most elegant of the 3, with those silver accents really popping against the blue. I was expecting to like the panda dial the most, but truth be told, my heart's been stolen by the navy. The polished elements on the dial just really contrasts well with that deep blue. And I think most will rightfully point out that this is a much more dressy design than the Speedtimer, with that Seiko being an out-and-out racing chronograph, where this is one that could be worn both on the track and at the dinner table. The main element that's aided this difference is the lack of a tachometer scale. The external bezel to the Speedtimer does give it proper Rolex Daytona vibes, probably a little too close in fact for some people's liking, whereas here with the Stretto, we don't actually have any timing scale for that chronograph sweep, which does tick multiple times per second by the way. Instead, the outer dial is just packed with details, which makes the watch look super flashy on wrist, which is echoed by the case finishing on this watch. Indeed, Orient are using the industry standard 316L stainless steel here, but we do see a good mixture of finishes like the dial surface. The bezel is high polish and slopes towards the case. The upper lugs are brushed but feature a large high polish chamfer, and the case sides are polished with a decent amount of curvature for comfort. I think that the silhouette of this case is incredibly sporty, with the polished surfaces dressing it up a bit, and I think that Orient has done a good job at matching the case with the dial. But do prepare yourself for 2 pieces of bad news. 1, hollow end links. Unfortunately, this is just something that Orient and Seiko love to put on almost every entry-level watch. Yes, solid end links are better, but Orient tolerances are usually really tight, so in some cases they actually fit better than solid ones anyway. The Speedtimer does have solid links, but they do protrude from the case, whereas this Orient features negative links helping the fit, which we will cover shortly. And secondly, a pressed clasp. Again, I feel your frustration. This is actually my least favourite part of this watch. It only features 2 levels of micro adjustment too, which is just annoying when it could just feature more, whereas the Speedtimer features a solid scissor, but still with only 2 levels of micro adjustment. But thankfully, the bracelet links are solid with this watch, and they do echo that case finishing with a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces. It also does feature a slight taper from 20mm at the lugs to 18mm at the clasp. Just push pins here, no screwed links, and those those are just single links that are made to look like a 5-piece. However, because those links are nice and small, this watch does hug the wrist nicely. This watch comes in at that sweet spot of 40mm with the case diameter. The lug-to-lug offers some presence at 48mm, and the thickness is a hair over 11mm. I think most will agree that this is a great set of dimensions. They offer comfort while still having a decent sized watch on wrist. I'd recommend this watch to anyone with a 6.5-inch wrist and above. This watch is slightly bigger than the Speedtimer, but it's actually much thinner, and the lug width on this watch is 20mm too, so you will be able to pair this watch up with just about anything, especially if you go for one of the neutral dials. But there is one area of this watch that does get beaten by the Seiko Speedtimer. The case back on this watch is screwed down, but the crown and pushers are not, meaning that Orient could only deliver 50 meters of water resistance with this watch. That is technically enough to go for a swim, but I wouldn't risk it, where the Seiko does come with 100 meters. The 50 meters here is enough for everyday wear, but I felt it right to acknowledge that Seiko did one-up Orient here. So there are 3 areas where Seiko wins: the water resistance, the solid end links, and the milled clasp. Everything else is split between the two. But let's just have a moment of sincerity. Do I genuinely believe that this new Orient chronograph is a good alternative to the Seiko Speedtimer? I'm personally not a fan of how close the Speedtimer looks to the Rolex Daytona, especially when considering that the watch was originally launched to celebrate Seiko's incredible chronograph achievements. Without it actually looking like a chronograph that Seiko has ever made, the Speedtimer seems like a way to cash in on the Daytona hype without actually having any link to that design. It's obviously a great watch and it's good looking too, but for me it lacks an identity. On the flip side, this Orient isn't trying to hijack a trend or masquerade as something it's not. It's offering an aesthetic that isn't as mass appealing or as sporty as the Speedtimer, but more original to Orient and not caring about the current hype. I think that this Orient Stretto is a fantastic chronograph for the money. I think the only question is having a tachometer bezel and Daytona look something that you want? Because this new Orient obviously doesn't deliver that. It instead offers a lot more versatility with its aesthetic, lending it to work in both casual and formal situations, where the Speedtimer definitely couldn't do that. And I think visually it looks like it costs a hell of a lot more than it actually does. Speaking of, the retail price on this watch is £270, but with my exclusive 25% off discount code, it gets it down to just over 200. That does include free shipping and it's covered by the official manufacturer's warranty, and I'm told by Watch Nation they also offer another year on top of that. This is not an affiliate code, by the way. I make no sort of commission from this video. I just genuinely think this is a great chronograph for the price. I recommend using Watch Nation to take advantage of that discount code. I've been a customer of them in the past, so I have no problem recommending them to you. All 6 colorways are available to buy right now on the Watch Nation website. If you fancy a bit of gold in the mix, then check out the other 3 versions. But my favorites are the silver panda and the navy blue. And you might just see this navy blue model in my end of the year state of the collection. Why are watches so damn addictive? If you haven't already, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Bye for now.